Hello! This is super strange because this is the first Boost episode that we're doing on YouTube as well, and it's really strange just talking to myself. But here we go. Welcome back to the In Raw Life podcast. Today's episode is a Boost episode, and I've not done one of these in quite a long time, and I'm pretty excited because I am on an ever-growing journey. I don't want to say never-ending, an ever-growing journey to be better to Mother Earth. I want to be sustainable, eco-friendly, recycle, whatever it is that I can do. And I have to preface this with, I am nowhere near the best at this. I am nowhere near perfection when it comes to being eco-friendly. But I choose to invest in items and invest my time in actions that will help me reach my goal. So today I have a list for you. It's a top 10 list with 6 items and 4 activities or actions that can help you invest in our Mother Earth, because it's the only Earth that we've got, and we need to make sure that we're taking care of it so that we can continue living these beautiful lives that we live for generations to come. And because why not? Why would we want to be cruel to the planet that literally gives us life? I saw a quote the other day. I don't even remember where, but I wrote it down in the notes for today's episode. So I'm going to read it. I won't lie, I do not know who exactly this is, but think of what a better world it would be if we had a basic policy in our nation and other nations to always put things back where we found them and cleaned up our own messes. That is by Robert Fulghum. And I have this kind of policy in my own house that I'm trying to implement with my daughter and my man friend. Think of what a better, more healthy, well-working household we would have if people put things back where they got them from originally and cleaned up. We would feel better. It's not necessarily taking care of the earth, but we would feel better in our household. Our minds would be less cluttered, our house would be less cluttered, and we'd be able to function better. That is how it goes for our beautiful earth. Okay. Top 6 eco-friendly, maybe you hadn't thought of these items that I or Sierra have tried and trust. Number 1 is reusable baggies. I know that a lot of people already use these, and honestly, they're getting super cute. And I've had the reusable baggies that I've had and that we've had at least since Emmeline was born, probably a few of them. So 8 years old. And then I just buy a few more as we go. My goal is to have only reusable bags and baggies in the house in the next year or two, and not continue to buy Ziploc bags, even for storing our chicken to freeze, stuff like that. I would rather be using eco-friendly things that we can wash and reuse, because guess what? When you use these things, it's less waste in the world, and it's cheaper over time because you're not spending the money over the time, and it's just less stuff in your house. You don't have to think about rebuying things. You don't have to take up an entire drawer full of these boxes instead of you just have, however many flat bags that you store. So I even just saw some the other day. It was really hard not to buy them because we didn't need them right now, but they were the cutest, like watermelon and cacti and succulent and unicorn reusable baggies, snack baggies at Target. And yeah, you can find them anywhere. Target, Walmart, Amazon, everywhere has these. There's Stasher, there's a few different types. Just kind of see what looks like it's durable and that you're going to reach for and use, because then you'll be using them and you'll realize you don't need Ziplocs anymore. Number 2 gets a little bit intimate. So probably 2 years ago now, I was hearing about menstrual cups. And I was like, ooh, that's interesting. And I don't know if I could handle that. But as I looked into it more and I read more about them and realized one, they could actually be really easy and they're really widely used and they've gotten better, I guess, over time. They are basically, instead of having to buy, one-time use throwaway tampons and pads, you can get a menstrual cup, which there's ones that are even get as small as a tampon if you're worried about that. So you can get it. It's like using the same thing, but it's reusable. It lasts longer. It lasts throughout the day. You clean it when you're done. It's super easy to clean out and sanitize. And then you're not buying boxes and boxes of plastic and cotton and cardboard tampons that, one, really what's in them that you're putting in your body. Two, you're not throwing away all this plastic and constantly buying new and having to think about it. And you're spending less money, again, over time. So I've been using them for about a year and a half, I want to say. And once you get the hang of them, ladies, it's life-changing. I promise you. There's tons of different quizzes out there that you can take to kind of figure out what one would work best for you. I was using, I think it was called Organic Cup for a while, and it was great for a while, but then it stopped being great for me personally. And then I discovered Intima recently, and that one, it just feels better. It works better. It's awesome. And paired with that, this is also gets even more interesting, is menstrual panties. So these are panties that are washable, that can either be as like a backup or sometimes the only thing that you need to wear, which I know sounds really crazy. But once I started using those, I was like, oh man, I wish I had these after I had Emmeline. Like, what you have to wear after you have a kid is pretty bulky and uncomfortable, but you need it for stuff. This would have been an amazing thing to use instead. And they're rewashable, so you don't have to buy pads or whatever. It's reusable, and they actually make pretty cute ones now, and they're not uncomfortable. So that is my number 2. Because if you're in the age range of teen to 50s, 60s, depending, you need something. And why not use something that's eco-friendly and that's dependable over time? Saves you way, way more money, and it's way less crap going out there back into the earth. Number 3 is better cleaners and reusable bottles. And that's for reusable bottles for cleaners. So, doing your research into what brands and companies really are good, sustainable cleaners and are good for you and for the earth. And there are so many of those out there now. I can't think of the names off the top of my head, but because I make my own with essential oils, but there's so many out there that come with reusable glass bottles, and then they just send you like the tablet even. So it's not even plastic packaging. The tablet that makes the cleaner. So you put it in there, you put, distilled water, and then you have a cleaner over and over again. Instead of having to go to the store every single time and buying Kleenex again, or not Kleenex, Windex, or I can't even think of the names of cleaners right now because I don't go and buy them. But instead of having to do that and constantly throwing out plastic bottles, or if you have one of those in your house, make sure that it's something that is able to be reused, and then you can remake a cleaner in that. I think they even, like Method hand soap, you can buy the like baggie of it to refill your hand soap at home so that you're not just constantly buying all of this plastic. So that is number 3. Number 4 is reusable bags. And that is shopping bags. So when I was living in Beaufort, they probably 2-3 years ago now, they were working on passing a ban on plastic shopping bags in grocery stores or really any stores. And they passed it. So that forced everybody to start using reusable bags. I lost you too, I pressed something. Now stores have gotten on the other side of things like that where they Well, my computer decided that it wanted to try to restart in the middle of this and do install updates. Okay, Stores have gotten on the other side of this where they have, I guess, more durable, sustainable plastic bags, but I am going to encourage and challenge you to just get a stockpile of reusable shopping bags, keep them in your car, and you just grab the whole bunch when you go into the store. Even yesterday, using this podcast, knowing that I was recording this today, it encouraged me because I don't live in Beaufort anymore, so it's not required to have them or as obvious that you need them. But for any big trip, I always use them. But I was running into a grocery store yesterday during Emmeline's swim practice, so I just needed 3 items, and I was running in, and I locked the car, and I started walking away, and I was like, oh, I didn't grab a bag. It's okay, they have plastic bags here. And I was like, nope, that's terrible thinking. Go back, unlock the car, open the trunk, grab one single little bag, and relock the car and went inside and got my groceries. And it all fit in one bag. So it's super easy to use. Once you get in the habit of it, it's second nature. And that's doing a lot for the world because we don't need more plastic bags in this world. Number 5 is something that I discovered recently on my journey to want to have better products in my house, and that is food huggers. First of all, cutest name ever, right? Second of all, they're adorable looking. They come in all these fun, bright colors. Third, they work really well. So what they are, there's some that are circles and there's some that are rectangles. I got the circle ones for now because we're constantly using saran wrap, plastic wrap, to wrap our cut open onions, cut open lemons, limes. Sometimes there's an open banana that we might wrap half of it. And these food huggers go cap on the end of the fruit or vegetable and keep them good without using plastic. They're made out of silicone, they're rewashable, they're adorable in our fridge. So it's just all these added benefits. And then I told my man friend, listen, once we're done with the saran wrap that we have in our house, we're not getting it again because we don't need it. That's it. Because we're going to have, anything that we need it for. We have either the food huggers, and we'll eventually get the rectangle ones too, or we're going to have reusable plastic baggies that we don't need it for. So I love those. They're amazing. Number 6 is something from Sierra. I asked her if she had anything to add to the list, and this was her big thing. They are San Francisco Keurig cups. So she said that the reason why she didn't want a Keurig for so long is mainly because Keurig cups are expensive and you can't, they're plastic garbage. But she realized that you can recycle Keurig cups. All you have to do is you peel off the tin foil, like the foil that's on the top, pull out the filter, throw that in the garbage, then rinse out the plastic, and you can put that in recycling. So that's her one tip. Number 2 is, if you don't want to deal with that, San Francisco Keurig cups are a little more expensive, but they are compostable. So they're completely made of recycled material, and then you can just straight up recycle them. I have to say, there is a number 7, which I know a lot of people use, but I don't think enough people use yet, is reusable water mugs or cups or whatever, coffee cups, anything like that. So Starbucks is full of them. The stores are full of them. I've got my huge gallon one right here. I have a smaller 22 ounce. I think it's a coffee mug, but I use it for my water in my car that I keep in my car at all times. There's no need to be using plastic water bottles anymore. They even make reusable plastic water bottle sized water bottles. So if it's a size issue, it's still easy, I promise you. And there are water fountains everywhere. You can fill it before you leave the house. You can use reusable cups and mugs. This is something that, and the reusable grocery bags are probably the easiest thing to implement into your life if you have not already. Now for my actions and activities. I have 4 things that are really huge in my house that we like to do. Number 1 is we use essential oils. Now, that might not sound like an eco-friendly thing to do, or how is that necessarily eco-friendly? Like I said, I make my cleaners out of that. So I have my reusable glass and appropriate plastic bottles, spray bottles that I make my cleaners with. I make a lot of our things with. I use a lot of it for skincare instead of having to buy plastic bottled things. We refill, like when a rollerball runs out, we refill it with the oils that I have. They're all glass bottles. I make our laundry detergent with it, so it's reusable. We don't have to buy that big plastic jug or of anything. And I use a company that, yes, Sierra and I used to sell the product, but I completely stand behind, number one, the product and the company. They are very sustainable. They source from places where the oils naturally grow, so it's not trying to force anything. And a lot of their oils they'll try to use in a way to help the environment. Like their Douglas fir oil, I believe it's in Australia. It was becoming an issue, and these furs were taking over. I can't think of the word right now. And so they were like, hey, we'll help you out, and we'll use the trees and make them into oil, and then they're not taking over your space anymore. So that is number one of actions or activities. Number two is buying secondhand. Facebook Marketplace, thrift shops, friends passing down clothes to friends or taking hand-me-downs from friends. These are all eco-friendly ways to live because you're not going out and purchasing brand new, which is not always necessary. You are not creating more, demand for these things, so less is being made, and then things are getting more life out of them because they can totally get more life out of them. This is baby products like high chairs and strollers, anything that's obviously safe to use. Car seats, I know, have an expiration date. But there are so many things that can be handed down that you don't need brand new. You just don't. And again, it's more cost effective. The third one is to upcycle. So this is something huge in my house too. Anything that we can reuse, we'll reuse. I keep things very purposely. I don't, I like to be more minimalistic. So I don't like to hold on to things just because, but things that we have is because we use them. And I'm not going to just throw something out if we are actually going to use it, because then we're just going to have to buy another one in the future. Or like when we have quote unquote garbage and my daughter's like, hey, I could use that for an art project. Go for it. That's one less toy I have to buy. She's amazed by all of these things that we have in our house that she can use for projects rather than running to Michael's or Target and buying new craft supplies or whatever else she might have her heart set on. So upcycling is huge. Also, I have tons of yarn because I crochet and tons of other craft things. And every once in a while, these things come up. Like I really wanted onion hangers for the house, like macrame onion hangers. So then I have supplies in the house to make said things. And all of a sudden I have this brand new thing that I made out of stuff that I might have in the house. And then the last one is companies that care. Doing your research on companies. I have one of my best friends is really, really good at this. She really delves into the research behind what she buys, and I love her for it. But doing your research on the companies that you support and give your money to and buy things from, making sure that they are companies worth investing in. Not that you're investing stock-wise, but giving them your money is investing in them and saying this is a good company. You want them to continue whatever practices that they're doing. So checking in on stuff like that to make sure that you're contributing to something worthwhile. So that is my Be Better to Mother Earth eco-friendly boost. Again, I am nowhere near perfect. I can't say that I'm always 100% doing all of these things, but I am trying my best. And I'm always trying and working to be better at all of them. And if you have any suggestions of eco-friendly products or things to be doing, please send them to us on Instagram at inrawlife.co, or you can send it to our email, podcast@inrawlife.com. I would love to hear more. I would love to do some more research into things that I could be doing in my life, in my household, and then share with our community so that we can all be doing better, because when we're all doing it together, it's going to have a huge impact. And remember, even you, one little person, you can make an impact by what you're doing. Thank you for listening to my boost today. It's been fun. It's still funny doing one, especially with the YouTube watching myself record. But I really appreciate that you're always coming back and that you're always listening. Please, please rate, review, and subscribe because that will help us to get out to other listeners who might need us and might want to hear us. And that will tell the podcast platforms that we're worth listening to. You can share us again on Instagram at inrawlife.co, and we'll see you later.